Think, brain, think. There's gonna be something I can do. Oh, would you keep it down? I'm trying to have an idea here. God. Jeez, I really need some help on this one.
An emu just dropped this off for you?
Hello, Jesse? Yeah. I've got a great idea.
You want to do what? With what?
I've got to do something. I'm inundated. I'm drowning.
No way. It can't be done.
Listen, Jesse, I'm telling you, it's going to be incredible.
You crazy son of a bitch, I'm in. But we're gonna need more help.
Hi, and welcome to the video. Now, my last video had me feeling a little like this, but that wasn't going to stop me from participating in the Superglue Sci-Fi Slam. Now, if you're like me and you've been hoarding your superglue canisters for the entirety of your crafting career, then you know that it's about time to do something with them. So myself and Little Giant Crafts decided to make a challenge. Can you make something sci-fi related out of your superglue trash? We were lucky enough that a bunch of talented creators wanted to help us on this challenge. I'll put all their links down below, and we've made a playlist so you can watch everything back to back. I'm so impressed with what everyone's come up with. It's been so cool to see everybody's different takes and different style on this kind of challenge. Now, these superglue applicators already look like spaceships, so that's exactly what I'm going to make. This is a quick and easy slapdash kind of build that you can do yourself. In fact, I highly recommend you do it yourself because it's low stakes and it's heaps of fun. Now, you might recognize these ends of silicon caps that I used to build the lance in the last video. I'm going to use these as the thrusters and extend them with these pens from my office job. I like the way they have these kind of gill cutouts on the sides. Now I'll just hacksaw off these pen flaps and save them for later. Now these bits of superglue applicator, the lid I've chopped in half and stuck to the sort of like connector bit, shoved it up the bum and used it as the main third thruster. Now here are my two side thrusters. I'm going to hot glue them on because of course during this build I've completely run out of super glue and I can't be bothered going to the shops to get any more, so don't tell the other crafters. I feel like it's a bit controversial to use hot glue in a super glue challenge. This inside of this other canister is going to be some extra detail on the sides of the thrusters. And these pen flaps are going to be used as some kind of like fenders on the thrusters. Do ships have fenders? I know absolutely nothing about ships, which is probably completely obvious by now. And even when I asked around, the answer turns out absolutely not, no. A builder left this screw in my house and I realized that it is the absolute perfect gun cannon for the front of the ship. It is terrifying looking and could hold some kind of laser beam. I'm going to mount it on the front with a Gundam piece. I made my first Gundam model recently and I was very excited to use the excess parts in a build. The head of the solar robot, whose parts I've used in most of my builds so far, will be used underneath for some kind of, to plug up this hole basically, I don't know what it is for. This piece of conveniently seat-shaped plastic will be the seat. And this ghastly joint here will be covered with a 3D printed vent that Little Giant Crafts donated to me, a random bit of green plastic to patch up the underside, and some more Gundam bits to add some extra detail. But wait, who's going to pilot this thing? To pilot this ship, there was only one pilot I could think of that could handle this red Hot Rod inspired 30s fighter plane, and that's the Crimson Pig himself, Porco Rosso. Now, I'm Italian, so Porco Rosso felt like the perfect pilot to fly this piece of trash.
You think?
But before I prime it, I'm going to make some kind of signalling device with this piece of plastic I ripped out of the pen and a piece of wire. I'm going to apply them to each side of the craft. This MDF board is going to make the tiny planet that the spaceship has landed on. And I primed both Porco and the spaceship in white. Originally I was going to do black and white, but I wanted the white to really pop with all the colours, because yes, I will be doing the iconic red of Porco Rosso's ship, and some little bits of metal to make it look a bit more spacey and weather it up a bit so it looks like it's travelled the galaxy somewhat. And I can't resist putting a little Italian flag on it. And after a long hard day, it was time to put this piggy to bed. While Porco slept, I painted the thrusters in an off-white and gave them a little black trim, and added some sort of pinky tan silver colour to the metal parts, as if at some point it had some kind of powder coating on it. Now, I thought I was being really clever by using painting tape to rule out some of these racing stripe lines, and I'm glad I did because the results are seamless.
Mamma mia! Oh no!
I don't like it.
Ah well, you win some, you lose some. I lost my perfectly straight lines, but I did win back the opportunity to practice painting in a straight line, the original thing I was trying to avoid in the first place. For Porco's body and for his skin, I'm going to use this ochre and white to make kind of like a cream colour, and brown for the boots and hat. My inexperience as a miniature painter really kicked in after I completed the spectacles and mustache, and I felt that if I kept going I would probably destroy him, so I quit while I was ahead and just touched him up a tiny bit more, but there he is, just about finished. Here I am freehanding the Italian flag decal. Now I drowned the ship in a brown wash to make it all dirty, and then I put a dark black wash on the engine to make it a bit oily and the metal a bit grimier, a bit more worn. I kissed it with a gunmetal grey dry brushing and a little bit of silver. And this ship's about ready to be launched in space. For this meteor planet, I realised I didn't really have any materials, just some foam, a rock, some foil and some spec filler. I haven't seen crafters use foil, and I feel like that's for a really good reason, but the curious part of me that wanted to learn the hard way decided that putting foil all over these rocks would make a great space planet texture, and I mean, I wasn't wrong. It's just that it is incredibly hard to work with and doesn't really like to stick to anything, but that's fine, we'll persevere. I hot glued down some rocks for some sort of variation. Now this space planet I imagine is dusty and rocky and kind of like a bit sticky and oozy, exactly what I've ended up creating, and it was definitely deliberate. Some spac filler will help make some of the parts on this rock a bit smoother, sprinkled on some sand from the beach and covered it all in this delicious sort of mild peanut butter colour that thankfully dried a bit more tan. I want to use some dark grey for the rocks and some red to give it more depth of colour, sort of like sunburnt. Patches of grey and some white, I'm not really sure what they're for, and this dry brushing of a light brown didn't really do anything, so I went back over it in the yellow to go back to sand. Now I'm going to put some ineffectual brown wash on it and this really nice dark oily black wash, which makes it all oozy and disgusting, and I think it's starting to look really great. I did this light dry brush of silver just to catch some of the peaks as if they've been scuffed. And this little oasis is just ready for Porco Rosso to come and spend his afternoon. And his resting place wouldn't be the same without his famous deck chair. And here we are. So I think we're about ready for the beauty shots, but before I show you, please enjoy these sneak previews of the other channels and the great creations that they've made for their superglue trash. Make sure you go and support their channels and like and subscribe, and I really hope you've enjoyed this video and I hope it inspires you to make something out of your bin. I like to think that Porco Rosso has started bounty hunting in outer space, and he settled down on this planet to have a quick break, and it's hot and it's dry, but he's really having a nice rest reclining in his chair. Oh my god, what is that?